Hello students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello everybody, and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, we are going to continue our Ancient Civilizations series by looking at the late Middle Ages, a time of upheaval. Don't forget that there's a link for a fill-in-the-blank worksheet in the description. I just ask that you like and subscribe. I apologize for any mispronunciations ahead of time. I do my best. And now it's on. In the mid-1300s, a deadly disease called bubonic plague, or the Black Death, reached Europe. It was spread by fleas carried by rats. Eventually, the epidemic or outbreak killed 1/3 of all Europeans. People were terrified and normal life broke down. People fled cities or hid in their homes. Without workers, production declined. Survivors demanded higher wages, leading to inflation or rising prices. Landlords tried to limit wages and forced villagers off the land. The plague not only spread death but also social unrest, as bitter, angry peasants revolted. By the late Middle Ages, the church too was in crisis. Many monks and priests had died during the plague. Survivors asked tough spiritual questions. The church could not provide the strong leadership that was needed. For 70 years, a luxury-loving papal court ruled in Avignon. Reformers arose within the church, calling for change. In 1378, they elected their own pope in Rome. French cardinals elected a rival pope. This church schism or split is called the Great Schism. It finally ended in 1417 when a church council removed authority from all three popes and elected a compromise candidate. For most of this time, a destructive war raged. Between 1337 and 1453, England and France fought a series of conflicts known as the 100 Years' War. Both sides wanted control of lands in France that had once been England's, the English Channel, and regional trade. England won early victories with new technology, the longbow. However, led by 17-year-old Joan of Arc, France began to win battles. Joan had told the uncrowned king, Charles VII, that God sent her to save France, so he authorized her to lead an army against the English. In 1 year, her troops won several victories, but she was captured, tried, and burned at the stake. Her death rallied French forces, and with their powerful new weapon, the cannon, they drove the English out of most of France. Ultimately, the war helped French kings expand their power. In England, it strengthened Parliament. As Europe recovered from the plague, its population grew, manufacturing expanded, and trade increased. This set the stage for the Renaissance, Reformation, and Age of Exploration. Now to recap. The mid-1300s brought Europe the worst surprise party ever, the Black Death. This nasty plague, spread by flea-infested rats, wiped out 1/3 of the population, causing people to panic, flee cities, and generally lose their minds. With so many dead, workers became scarce, demanding better wages, while landlords threw a tantrum and tried to keep them down. Cue peasant revolts. Meanwhile, the church had its own crisis, with rival popes fighting like kids over a toy, leading to the Great Schism, which was eventually solved by firing all the popes and picking a new one. As if that wasn't enough drama, England and France decided to duke it out for over a century in the 100 Years' War. England's longbows dominated early on, but then Joan of Arc, a teenage warrior with divine visions, turned the tide for France, before being burned at the stake. Plot twist, she became a saint later. France emerged stronger, England's parliament gained power, and after all this chaos, Europe finally started recovering, setting the stage for the Renaissance, where people could finally focus on art, science, and not dying in plagues. There you have it, folks. That is the late Middle Ages, a time of upheaval nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History. That was a nutty time, so don't forget to go nuts on those like and subscribe buttons for me. See y'all next time on Nutshelled History.